Hi friends, there's a lot to talk about today. I am overwhelmed by how many good books are being released in October 2023. There are so many, I had to condense the list because otherwise we'd be here forever. So let's get into it. So the first book that's on my radar is The Hurricane Wars. This is a debut novel. It is a enemies to lovers, fake dating, arranged marriage, angsty novel. It's all about this war that's happening, obviously the Hurricane War. In this book, we follow Taliesin and we follow Prince Alaric. And basically Taliesin, she is an orphan, but she also has a secret. She has something called light magic, and it is extremely rare from what I know. And on the flip side, we have Prince Alaric. He is the only heir, the only son and the only heir to like the empire. And I don't know how they're going to connect, but that's obviously where this book is going to go. And then their alliance together is supposed to be what can bring the end to the war. But apparently there is something worse, some kind of danger that's coming that is going to be even worse than the war that they have to prepare for together. Then the next release that's on my radar is Lore Olympus Volume 5. This releases on October 3rd as well. I love Lore Olympus. I found Lore Olympus as a webtoon. For those of you that don't know, a webtoon is an app where basically people release their graphic novels. And for those of you that don't know what Lore Olympus is about, it's basically a like modern day Hades and Persephone. It's really, really good. The art style is amazing, but as always, check trigger warnings because there are some descriptions of like assault and things like that. Though it is definitely an adult book. Even though it's a graphic novel, it is an adult book. The next book on my radar is Caught Up by Liz Tumford. This book comes out on October 10th. It is the third book in the Wendy series. I believe that you can read them though as standalones. Most of the time they can be standalones. So you don't have to read the other two to read this book, but obviously if you want to know the characters that are interconnected, check them out. This book follows Kai and Miller. Kai is a pitcher for, I think, the Chicago baseball team. And he is a single dad, and Miller is a pastry chef who has like some downtime. And so she becomes Kai's nanny. And so we've got sports romance, we've got single dad nanny romance, which I am here for. All of those check boxes that I am interested in. The next book that also comes out on October 10th is Better Hate Than Never by Chloe Leese. I have heard this book be described as childhood enemies to lovers. It's very like 10 Things I Hate About You vibes. And then it's a slow burn, but also age gap. And there is also ADHD representation. Chloe Leese always does a great job with her representation in her books. It's also a reimagining of Shakespeare's The Taming of the Shrew. I don't personally know what that means, but if you like Shakespeare, that must mean something to you. The next book is Good Game by Madison Fox, and this releases on October 12th. I'm very excited about this. I followed Madison here on YouTube for quite some time, and it's kind of surreal to know that like she's releasing a book. I'm very excited to read it. The whole series that Madison is doing is going to be 3 books. It's called the System series, and it's going to follow different streamers in each book. Good Game follows Blade and Stevie, and Blade is a famous video game streamer. Then Stevie just found out recently that her ex-boyfriend cheated on her, and so she is ready to get under somebody new, and that's how they meet. Basically, in this book, you can expect he falls first, hidden identity, masked men, reformed bad boy, and it's an open door steamy romance. The next book is the book, one of my most anticipated books of October, a book that I've already pre-ordered, a book that I cannot wait to hold in my hands. I cannot wait to read, but at the same time, I'm so sad for the series to be over. And that is Hopeless by Elsie Silver. We're finally getting Beau's book. He is our tortured military hero, and it's going to be a book for Bailey and Beau, and you're going to have age gap, you're going to have fake dating. It's kind of like fake fiance, actually. And small town vibes. I'm so excited. I'm so ready. For those of you that don't know about this series, it is a small town series that follows the Eaton family, and I cannot recommend it enough. It is so good. But at the same time, I'm so sad for it to be over. But I know that Elsie will continue to write books, so there'll be a new series for us to fall in love with. But I am really not ready to say goodbye to these characters and this world quite yet. Then we have Two Twisted Crowns by Rachel Gillig. This comes out on October 19th. You say hi? I can't tell you too much about this book because it is a sequel, but I can tell you about the first book, which is One Dark Window. Basically, you follow the female main character, and she actually has like a monster in her head that they call the Nightmare. And one day she actually meets this guy who we call the Highwayman. He actually ends up being the king's nephew. There's this whole plot about dark magic like infecting the Blunder. They have to find these 12 Providence cards to cure it, to stop this from happening. And while they're working together, ... So basically you've got romantasy, you've got slow burn, you've got enemies to lovers. So it's a win all around. Then we've got Shadows of You by Catherine Cowles, which comes out on October 19th as well. This is not the last book in the series. I believe this is book 5 currently in the Lost and Found series. And Catherine Cowles, for those of you who don't know, she writes a lot of romantic suspense, so you can absolutely expect that in this book. In this book, I'm so excited because we follow Roan, and he's always been the quiet one, but like super protective. And so I cannot wait for his story. I can't wait to have it. You can expect grumpy sunshine. You can expect forced proximity, a single mom / heroine in hiding. You can expect small town and romantic suspense. The next book we're going to talk about is A Curse for True Love by Stephanie Garber. This is the third book. I don't know if it's the final book in the Once Upon a Broken Heart series. I can't really tell you too much about this book because, again, it is the third book, so that would be kind of spoilery. So we're going to back up to the first book, which is Once Upon a Broken Heart. For those of you who do not know this, I didn't know this when I read Once Upon a Broken Heart. Once Upon a Broken Heart is connected to the Caraval series. I didn't know that. So you might want to read that first before you dive into this world, or if you don't care, that's fine too. In Once Upon a Broken Heart, we follow Evangeline, and she basically finds out that the person that she's desperately in love with is going to end up marrying her sister. So she makes a deal with the Prince of Hearts to try to stop the wedding. And disarray and chaos happens after that. And she finds herself kind of in this competition now to potentially marry the prince. So it jumps around. It has a lot of different plot points, but it's a good time. And let me tell you, the Prince of Hearts, he's worth it. He's worth your time. If you are at all interested in the series, he is absolutely worth your time. The next book we have is King of Greed. This book comes out October 24th. So excited about this book. So excited. Now, have I only read the first book in the series? Yes, but I will continue. I need to because I need this book. Basically, this is going to be a marriage in trouble and a second chance romance. I love when there's groveling and there's angst and there's all this, and they already have a history. So like, it's just, I feel like it's going to be really rich and really developed, and I am so here for it. We are following Dominic and Alessandra Davenport, and the whole tagline is, he had her, he lost her, and he'll do anything to win her back. I love a man who grovels and who fights for his woman, even though he obviously lost her. So he obviously wasn't doing a great job in the beginning, but I can't wait to see how they fall in love all over again, how he wins her back, because I truly believe that'll happen. And the last book we're going to talk about, which also comes out on October 24th, is The Woman in Me by Britney Spears. Do I even need to really say anything about this? I grew up listening to Britney's music. I followed her for a long time. I'm really curious to see what will be in her book. Regardless of what you think about her now and today, I just think she has a lot of things that she hasn't talked about. And so I absolutely will be picking this up. I'm really hoping I'll be able to get the audiobook. All right, guys, so those are 11 anticipated releases that I have for October. In the comments below, if you've made it this far, let me know what book you're looking forward to reading in October. And as always, guys, thank you so much for watching. I will see you in the next video. Bye.